Ryan, the Pistons right now are number one in the East, and they are in a position, and we talk about prime positions. They have all their first round draft picks to potentially trade. I know that you got the banner up at the bottom there, so clearly people can tell exactly where we're going with this conversation. But you saw a potential trade that the Pistons could make yesterday to keep their spot atop the East, and you think Michael Porter Jr. could potentially be on his way to Detroit.
Yeah, and I'm all for the Pistons not disrupting this young core. I'm all for not giving away an Asar Thompson, not giving away a Cade, not giving away a Jalen Duren. Ron Holland, again, if he feels like he's an outside guy, he's outside looking in terms of the young core, but Ron Holland's progressing pretty well. So I don't really want to include Ron Holland in a trade. But I guess if it includes getting a Michael Porter Jr., I guess I'm fine with it. But this trade in particular, I would have said yes in a heartbeat, and then would have pinched myself after I would have said yes to see if it was real. You're telling me this mock draft trade, or not mock draft trade, this mock trade was Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, a 2028 first and a 2027 first, or 2027 second rather. I would have been like, yeah, where do I sign? You're telling me to get rid of an expiring contract in Tobias Harris that no one really wants to bring back anyway. Jaden Ivey, who he was looking good last year, and then ever since his injury, the Pistons have gone up, and he's just in a bad spot. It's just odd man out at this point with Jaden Ivey. Really wish he became something because I really liked Ivey, especially coming out of Purdue. And then you're giving me a first round pick in 2028. I don't care. It's a first round pick in the NBA. It don't matter unless you suck. The NBA first round picks don't mean anything. They don't mean a damn. And a second round pick, who cares? You can throw in 3 more seconds. I don't care. But no, I think that's a trade because I think it's a really good trade for the Pistons because you get Michael Porter Jr., an experienced player in the playoffs. The Pistons, a lot of this roster only has 6 playoff games under their belt. I mean, Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, Tobias Harris, they have a handful. But outside of that, this whole young nucleus, Beef Stew, 6 games. 6 games under their belt, and that was all of last year. And I think of a guy that can stretch the floor a little bit. I feel like that's what the Pistons are lacking. I feel like whenever they get a stretch big, I know it's such a luxury, but you got to get a stretch big at some point, especially to compete. And I also see this move as competing against the Thunder. The Thunder are so good, even though I don't like Shea. But this is a guy that has been in the playoffs, won a championship, can score baskets when he can. He's a bucket, and he just scores. And the defense, question marks, but you know what? The Pistons play defense as it is anyway. At some point, that energy is contagious. Don't mean to quote Jarvis Landry, but it's contagious.
Contagious. No, here's what I'll say. The first part of what you said is absolutely true. Messing with the continuity of this team, right? Like, that's a scary thing if you're Teron Langdon because you look at, obviously what they've done already. And Tobias Harris has been obviously a key part of that. Like, he was part of the Pistons, was traded away, and then he came back. And now, obviously, since coming back, like, he is a key part of that kind of that veteran group for this Pistons team. And so it would be really hard to justify it in that way because, again, we're dealing with, if this is like a video game, this is a no-brainer, right? In my mind, right? Like, stats for stats, it's not even close. Michael Porter Jr. is the most productive person in this conversation, but you're considering, again, we're considering like human beings here, right? Like, this group, for some reason,
fair, we're dealing with the Nets. To be fair, it's possible we're dealing with the Nets.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So, I mean, we could definitely fleece them, I'm sure. But, you're dealing with that component of it, too. So that's the biggest question. If I think about the Michael Porter Jr. trade, listen, from a statistical perspective, it's a no-brainer. He's averaging 26 with 7.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists per game. He's shooting over 40% from distance this year. 9.4 attempts per game. So obviously he's a sharpshooter, and I think he's a better sharpshooter than Tobias. He's a far better sharpshooter than Tobias Harris is, and typically that's Tobias. I think so. You don't think so?
I was just being sarcastic.
Oh, boy! I thought you were being serious for a second. I'm like, whoa, wait, hold on.
My bad.
Sorry, I'm a little wired over here. No, but I mean, the floor spacing, his shooting, everything about MPJ's game would be great for the Pistons. But again, the main question remains, would he fit into that Detroit culture right away? Which again, it matters, especially when you're talking about being first in the East right now. You're first in the East for a reason.